Angelo, or what exactly is happening with his shoulder?
Yeah, inflammation shouldn't keep him out beyond today. I think we're expecting him to play Monday in Sacramento, but just say probable for Monday.
Did Jordan fly in this morning?
I believe this morning. Do you know? We flying last night.
I don't know for certain. I can find out for you.
Yeah. But he's here. We just did a walkthrough on our practice court, and he's here, ready to go.
Following up on that, what have you seen from Jordan to kind of bring him up right now?
Well, he's had a good stretch, 3 games, and a good week of practice as well, and the timing is right. To have him here, scheduling doesn't mean that we won't just send him back to Santa Cruz, depending on the schedule. So it's just both Jordan and Smiley will be active for us tonight, and with the roster situation, we need both guys.
Steve, a little left field question. Asked a couple guys around the league about the corner 3 in front of the opposing team's bench, and obviously could be funny. Here's some stories. Do you have any stories from your playing days shooting the corner 3 in front of the opposing team's bench? And I also heard that good shooters really didn't get much trash talk in that situation. So, do you have any input on that?
Unfortunately, I don't. I as a coach, I never look at the guy. You know, it feels like almost everybody now when they make a corner 3, they turn around and look, and I never look at the guy. I don't give him the satisfaction. I just turn and look the other way.
Going back to Jordan Poole real quick, he was averaging 26 points. He was shooting better than 40% from 3. Did you hear any notes about his productivity or confidence during this time?
Well, I watched last night's game, which was a great come from behind win against the best team in the league in Salt Lake. So, and I watched the previous game, which was not a great game for Santa Cruz. And then I've been in touch with Chris Weems, so we've kept our finger on the pulse, and you know, a lot of communication. I texted with Jordan, you know, throughout. So he's been productive. The main thing that I tell all of our guys who go to the G League is they shouldn't try to do anything there that I'm not asking them to do here. The whole point is to build the right habits. So for someone like Kai, that means pick up full court, harass your man defensively, get the team into the offense. For somebody like Jordan, it's work well without the ball, fly off screens, transition defense, help defense, play with great energy. All the same things I'm going to ask of him here. That's what we expect in Santa Cruz. So he's had a productive week there.
Coach, I know he's not playing tonight, but Blake Griffin has turned himself into a really good 3-point shooter after coming into the league, not being a great shooter. Kawhi is kind of the same way. Do you believe that shooting is something that you can teach guys along the way in the NBA, or as being a great shooter yourself and coaching some of the best shooters ever, do you think it's more something that you're just born with and you do what you can?
I think if you're saying great shooters, I think you're more born with it, and then you can refine it. I think guys can turn themselves from non-shooters into respectable shooters. I think it's really hard to take somebody who's never been a good shooter and turn them into a great shooter. I think there's a natural touch, a natural feel that has to be there already. But the way the league is going, you know, everybody is shooting threes now in practice. Andre Drummond has taken 18 threes this year. You know, hasn't made it yet. Maybe one of these days it's going to go down. But there's just this idea that everyone's going to shoot threes, and you know, we space the floor and then we keep track of it, and you know, the more threes we can take, the better. I'm not all the way there yet in terms of you know, that philosophy, but I think the more threes for your great shooters, the better. Not sure about for your so-so shooters, and that's the thing that everyone's trying to do around the league is sort of create what Houston and Milwaukee have done, which is put a team of shooters all over the floor, spread out the defense, and make it really difficult to guard. And if you've got James Harden or Giannis, then it makes it almost impossible to cover.
Steve, going back to the philosophy on G League teams, how has that changed over the past couple of years now that every team has an affiliate and you can use that time to develop players and to mimic your system that you have here, that you can shuttle players back and forth and you use that as more of an asset now?
Yeah, when I was in Phoenix as GM, our G League affiliate was in Ireland, and so that we didn't have the proximity geographically to bring a guy out for a day and send him back and have that type of flexibility. And now I think teams are figuring it out. Phoenix's G League team now is in Prescott, and an hour and a half away. Ours is in Santa Cruz, an hour away. And if you build the symmetry within, you can really, I think, make it much more productive, so that when we do send Jordan Poole down, he's going to know all the plays because they're running the same stuff. We bring Smiley up, same thing. He's going to be familiar with what we're already doing because they're doing the same thing there. So I think teams have gotten smarter and they've put more resources into their G League affiliates, and it makes sense.
Is Willie playing at all?
Yeah, Willie's good to go.
With Looney, is this lingering longer than you thought?
Yeah, it's just, I just talked to him. He thinks he's getting better, and I'm hopeful that he'll play next week sometime. But it's just been a frustrating time, a frustrating season for him. I feel bad for him. I think you guys know how I feel about Loon, one of the most professional people I've ever been around, and a key part of our team over the last couple of years. And he deserves better. He's unbelievably professional, and he just hasn't had any breaks this year.
You've been pretty active the last couple of days on Twitter. There's been stuff going on in the country. How distracting is that right now? Or like how distracting is what's going on?
I don't feel distracted. I just follow what's going on in the world because it's always of great interest to me. And, so I'm worried that we're going to end up in another war. So I try to use my Twitter platform to remind people to do their homework before we all, just blindly wave the flag and get ourselves into another mess like we did in Iraq. I remember, when we entered the Iraq War, I think I was in my last year playing. Was that 03? The Iraq War. 02, 03.
Yeah.
And so I remember the patriotic fever that kind of swept the NBA. And since that time, we do a great job in our league and the other leagues supporting our veterans and bringing them to games and giving them ovations, which I wholeheartedly support. But what I think would be even more supportive is to not get it involved and not send soldiers overseas to unwinnable, unnecessary wars in the first place. That's how we can best support our men and women who are representing us. And we have a history in this country. All you have to do is read Vietnam and Iraq, and the people are misled by our government. Happened in Vietnam. We know that. The facts were not facts, and we have to be very careful right now with what we're being told. And if we're led into another war, the implications for so many families, so many people are so drastic that we all need to understand what's happening and support our troops by making sure we press our government to do the right thing. So I'm saying everything I am to support our young men and women around the world who are putting their bodies on the line.
Back to basketball, I guess. Lee and Bowman, their days are kind of coming up here pretty soon. The two-way contracts are kind of a new NBA, part of the NBA landscape. What kind of unique pressures are guys on those contracts under, and how have Bowman and Lee in particular handled that this year?
Yeah, it's not easy. You know, you're kind of on this audition, this extended audition. But it's a good test. You know, you get a real good look at players and how they respond to pressure. And I suppose one way to look at it is you get a look at how they might respond under the pressure of a playoff game. If they can handle the pressure of being on a two-way and having an audition to see if they belong in the league. It's a pretty good indicator of what kind of competitor they are. And I think both Kai and Damian have shown what kind of competitors they are, what kind of players they are. They both belong in this league, and I think they're both going to be in this league for a while.
Last one.
Hopefully with us.
Steve, last couple of weeks I've heard whispers that Steph and Klay are starting to get a little restless. And I was wondering, A, if you sense the same thing, and if so, how are you seeing it?
They're definitely restless. They've been restless for this whole season. I think they have also benefited from the break. You know, I've talked about this, but the 5-year run for those two guys in particular was exhausting, and so in an ironic way, this has been probably a good chance for them to blow off some steam and to, whatever metaphor you want to use, cool their engines. But that can only last for so long. They're both dying to play, and we're dying to have them back, and so we'll just keep, staying the course, and they're both doing a great job with their rehab, and they're on schedule, and we're excited for whenever that is for them to return to the field.
One last one, I guess, for Connor here.
Just kind of building off that, is Steph close to being able to travel, I think?
He's definitely able to travel. I generally don't ask guys to travel if they're not going to play, especially because we have our facilities here for rehab. This is the best place for them to rehab in general, but there are going to be road trips where Steph and Klay decide to come. It's more up to them and the training staff. I don't have a requirement for anybody to come.
Great. Thanks.